Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei was eldest son of Yasaka Queen Conqueror Yokai? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Untested Associate 24 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. Issei Hayato, eldest son of the Queen of the Yokai, Yasaka Hayato, was born on the 6th of April just over centuries ago. When he was born not as a full-breed yokai, but as a hybrid kitsune. He was born with silver hair with blonde streaks, and had red eyes compared to his mother's golden ones. His tails were also silver with blonde tips. When he was born with 7 tails, which entailed a lot of his potential future strength. As he was younger, he grew up an extremely happy child. His mother would constantly dote on him, and he'd entertain her a lot, especially on days when his mother was down. He'd be there to make sure that she was cheered up. Issei was also adored by his aunt, Tamamo, who was the first and only Jubi no Kitsune, and would constantly spoil him, much to the chagrin of her younger sister, whilst she'd spoil her son as well, but not too much or to a high level. However, Issei's existence holds a dark secret that is traumatic to his mother, and one which is a closed secret, and only known by the closest to his mother. Only the Shinto Trinity, Yasaka, Tamamo, Magari, and Niharahian would know of Issei's true composition, and it was held as a hard secret. Issei's childhood was filled with duty and learning, especially since he was the prince of the yokai and Yasaka's heir in the future. He would often be present in important meetings with his mother and aunt, where he'd learn a lot when it came to year-old Issei. One day, though, when Issei was years old, his world would come crashing down, as the nature of his true heritage and how he was conceived would come to fruition. One day, as he was playing with his friends and running around, a sudden pair of bat-like wings appeared on his back, which scared his friends. "Yokai child, he's a devil! Yokai child, he's going to hurt us! Yokai child, I don't want to play with him anymore! Yokai, he's a creature of sin and evil! Yokai, he should have been killed the day he was born! Yokai, how could anyone raise that thing? I see. Hey guys, what's going on? Yokai child, we gotta go. Our parents are calling us. I see. We'll play again tomorrow, right? Yokai child, you know, I think we should stay far away from each other. We don't want to play with a devil like you." "I see. What do you mean I'm not a devil?" "Yokai child, your wings tell us otherwise." Issei looked at his wings for the first time as the other children ran away. He tried calling them, but they ignored him. He ran back home crying, and he ran back home to his mother, who was in a meeting with Amaterasu. When he burst into the room, there was an immediate concern. Amaterasu, who saw the young kitsune as a nephew of her own. "Amaterasu, I see what's wrong. Why are you crying?" "Amaterasu, I see, Oka-san, Oba-san. Am I a creature of sin, a creature of evil?" "Yasaka, why would you say that? I see." Yasaka was immediately concerned, and she thought the worst-case scenario had happened, which she didn't want for her son. "I see this." Issei unfurled his wings to the shock of both women in the room. Yasaka froze up as she began to have post-traumatic flashbacks from an incident that occurred nearly years ago. "Flashback years ago. Yasaka, please let me go." "No, we're just getting started, Your Majesty. By the end of this, you'll have enjoyed it." "Yasaka, no, please. Silence yourself, fox, and open your legs." End of flashback. Amaterasu had been trying to get Yasaka to return to her senses, as she had seen her son's wings, and she immediately fainted and collapsed. "Amaterasu, Yasaka. I see, go and get the doctor to help your mother." "I see, okay." A doctor came to help the yokai queen as she was placed in her bedroom to rest. "Yokai doctor, Her Majesty is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from that incident." "Amaterasu, she'll be alright though, correct?" "Yokai doctor, we do not know as of yet, Your Excellency, but Her Majesty will be kept under observation. For now, she'll be allowed time to rest. She shouldn't be doing any royal duties." "Amaterasu, I understand, doctor. Let me go and see." "I see." "Yokai doctor, of course, but Lady Amaterasu, please let him down easy. I've heard how he got isolated earlier because of this." "Amaterasu, I'm aware. I'll contact his aunt Tamamo to get here as well." "Yokai doctor, thank you, Lady Amaterasu." Amaterasu went to the young prince, who was worried about his mother. "I see, Oba-san. How's my mom?" "Amaterasu, your mother will be fine." "I see, she fainted due to some bad memories." I see, did I cause Mom to faint? Issei was starting to cry once again at the chance that he was the reason why his mother fainted and had to be kept under observation. Amaterasu, I see, don't cry now, your mother would want you to be strong for her. Okay, don't worry, she will be alright. Tamamo also arrived as well, and she saw Amaterasu comforting Issei and knew what happened, and saw that Issei would have to be told of what had happened to his mother all those years ago. After a bit, Issei was allowed to see his mother, to which he cried into her chest as she tried to comfort her son as best as she could, despite her circumstances. Yasaka, I see, don't cry now, I'm here. I'll be alright. I see, Mom, I was so worried about you. Yasaka, I'll be fine, I see, I'll be fine. I see, Mom, what happened to you? Yasaka, I see, it's a story of an event I'd like not to remember. I'll probably tell you one day, but not now, my little fox. I see, okay, Mom. Yasaka, let's sleep for now. Issei grew increasingly isolated afterward, mostly remaining in the palace and its grounds, never going outside. His becoming shut-in was a concern to his family, as he refused to socialize with any other yokai children out of fear of being prejudiced and discriminated against until two other kitsunes came into the fold. One was a red-haired kitsune named Irina Shidu, whilst the other, a white-haired kitsune, was named Ari Hoshiko. They were able to break down Issei's shut-in walls and were able to bring him out, and he was able to socialize with them once again. They became his only friends from that point onwards. The trio would often keep each other company and have fun together, as Issei would find the joy of having friends and companions once again. After 6 years, the trio would enter into an intimate relationship with one another, as Issei would mark both Irina and Ari as his mates, much to the joy of his mother Yasaka, who was happy that she'd gained 2 daughters-in-law. Issei would also grow to become one of the strongest yokai ever known, as he'd rise quickly. He was also a prodigy in all yokai magic and sage arts, going from being a 7-tailed fox to a 9-tailed fox or a Kyubi no Kitsune, then ascending to divinity, becoming the second Kitsune to do so after his aunt Tamamo by becoming a Jubi no Kitsune or a 0-tailed fox. Soon afterwards he'd marry his sweethearts Ari and Irina, in a traditional Shinto wedding that was officiated by his aunt Amaterasu. He also beat his uncle Susanoo in combat, to which the Shinto god of storms had gifted him with a Shinto relic, the Holy Sword, a no Murakumo no Tsurugi, also known as Kusanagi no Tsurugi, which was the sword used to slay Yamato no Orochi. At first, when he wielded the sword, it burned him badly, which required him to hide the wound of his burn. That was when he was told of what had happened to his mother and the aftermath, which Yasaka did so herself despite protests from the Shinto Trinity and the Eastern yokai leaders. Yasaka, I see, dear, do you mind if I talk to you? I see, I'll always have time to talk to you, mother. Yasaka, let's sit down, we'll have tea shortly. So what I am about to tell you is extremely personal to me. It was the reason why I fainted all those years ago. Seeing your wings brought back some memories I would have forgotten. But I want you to know this, none of it was your fault. I see, mother, what is going on? Yasaka, so 9 years ago, I met someone who was hurt just outside our domain whilst I was walking around. I found him bleeding and I took him in and I helped him to heal and recover. After a bit of time, he slowly recovered and I allowed him to remain in Kyoto for an extended amount of time so he could fully recover. The man I found was a devil. I sensed his energy, and I felt that he had no hostile intentions, so I trusted him. He told me of his time in the underworld and how he had 2 children who lived there as well. Both of them had been serving the son of Lucifer, Rizavim Levon Lucifer, and were fighting in a civil war between devils. The war was devastating to say the very least, as many of the underworld's pillar clans had been lost in the war, and how he was worried for his children, especially since they were fighting in it. I listened to him, and was intrigued by his stories. We grew to have a friendship along that. Though one day, all of that would crash down, he had placed a strong drug in my tea during one of our conversations. That drug made me extremely drowsy and knocked me out. When I woke up, I found myself tied down to my bed, still extremely out of it, but I was naked. He was standing over me and he began molesting me. Yasaka began to cry as the memory of what happened that day came back. She recalled it all. Yasaka, then afterwards, he raped me. He placed a soundproof barrier in which no one would be to know what had happened to me. He continued to do so until I couldn't scream anymore, and I only could silently shed tears. Issei went over to his mother and hugged her tightly as she cried heavily. His anger had started to rise hearing what happened to his mother, Yasaka. Afterwards, he left without a word, having taken my purity away from me without my consent, leaving me traumatized. And as it turns out, he left me pregnant, and 9 months later, I'd have a child. Issei caught on to his mother's story as he realized that she was telling the story of how he was conceived. I see, I was that child, right? Yasaka, yes, I see, it was you. You were born half devil / half kitsune. Despite that, I loved you unconditionally. You were my little light in a world of darkness. I love you so much, my baby boy. I see, but when you saw my wings those years ago, I re-traumatized you. Yasaka, the thing is, I didn't expect that you'd have them, so my mind went blank as it went back to the last time I had seen a devil's wings. I see, I'm sorry, mother. Yasaka, don't be, you never knew. I see, but now I need to find that bastard and pay him back for all the pain he caused you. Yasaka, I see, he's already dead. Turns out he was killed in the Civil War. But I don't want you to turn into a person who judges a person based on their race. Try to know the person first, and see if their intentions are good. Okay, I see, okay, mother, I will. Yasaka, I thought you'd call me mom. Mother feels so formal, and we're just seated together as mother and son. I see, sorry mom, I'm too used to it. Yasaka, there we are. Issei rested his head on his mother's shoulder as she ruffled his hair and ears. Time skipped 90 years later. Almost 2 centuries later, Issei had grown to be a formidable warrior. He was on the verge of breaching the top 0 strongest list, thanks to more training, especially from the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong, who was ranked joint 4th in the top 0. He grew stronger to the point of surpassing the Shinto gods in strength. Eventually, what had happened to his mother Yasaka was disclosed to the yokai, and a large majority were furious and wanted retribution for what happened, but were told that the queen herself didn't wish for that to happen. The other yokai who had discriminated against Issei when they didn't know what had happened also apologized to the yokai prince, as they never knew the circumstances around everything. He also let go of his grudge around it as well. Eventually, Yasaka properly settled down and married another kitsune named Daichi. At first, Issei did not trust him around his mother considering her past, but managed to get past the son to marry his mother. The duo also grew a father-son bond despite Issei being a half-breed kitsune. Issei, Ari and Irina were also happily married, but they had trouble conceiving children, which Yasaka attributed to Issei being half-devil, since devils are known to have a low birth rate. Yasaka and Daichi ended up having a child, a girl named Kuna. At this point, Issei was starting to take up more duties that his mother would have held, such as leading the yokai council meetings and establishing diplomatic relations with other factions. However, he still held a grudge against the devil faction and refused to make diplomatic relations of any kind with them at all. One day, Issei received a call that would change everything. He heard of how his wife Irina's home in the eastern yokai faction was attacked, so he quickly gathered a force to protect his wife's home. But they had arrived way too late. I see, oh no, everyone spread out. Search for survivors. Yokai soldiers, yes sir! They searched around, mostly finding corpses, especially of Nikomata and Nekashu. I see, this was a premeditated attack. A genocide. Soldier, your highness. We found a human body here. I see, please don't let it be you, father. Issei ran over and his worst fears came true. Issei saw his father-in-law Kenji Shido, dead, eyes gouged out, his arms dismembered, and disemboweled. He had a few tears in his eyes. He looked around for his mother-in-law, Aoi. He ended up also finding her, in the near same state as Kenji, but he also saw that she had been raped and violated as well. I see, damn the people who did this. Yokai soldier, sir, we found this. I see, what is it? Yokai soldier, a wing, a bat-like wing. I see, do you mean the devils were behind this? Yokai soldier, yes sir. I see, thank you for the report. Yokai soldier, your highness. I see, damn these ing devils. Yokai soldier, sir, we found a survivor. I see, what? Where? Yokai soldier, in here sir, we've found she's a Nekashu. I see, take her back home to Kyoto to get treatment. I see, there really needs to be a serious conversation between myself, mother, and Obasan about the devils and their repeated incursions. Issei returned to Kyoto and reported to his mother and aunt, to which he tragically reported the loss of the East Yokai faction. He also reported that there was a targeted focus on the Nekishu and Nikomata population of the faction. He also suggested taking the fight to the devils but was shut down by his mother, though she understood his anger and hurt they couldn't go to war, one which they'd lose much to his frustration, and he had to report to his wife Irina about her parents' deaths, which was the most painful thing he had to do. I am so sorry, my love, for losing your parents like this. I'm so sorry. Time skip year later. A year after the tragic loss of the Eastern Yokai faction, several surviving Yokai of that faction who'd been living in hiding revealed themselves, including Niharahian and Magari, and they were immediately granted asylum to Kyoto as now citizens of the Western Yokai faction. Also in that time frame, Daichi was murdered by specialist Yokai hunters who were hired by members of the old Satan faction. Issei went on a hunting mission and was able to capture and execute the people who ordered the hit on his stepfather, the man along with Kenji whom he had grown to have a fatherly bond with. Daichi's last words would always stick with Issei as he held his son's hand as he was dying. Daichi, son, please take care of your mother and sister. I won't be able to anymore. Keep protecting them. Watch them for me. I see. Dad, please don't go. We can save you, please. Daichi, I'm sorry. I'm not going to have those trips with you anymore. I love you, son. Dad. Dad. Please wake up. Dad. His mother mourned the loss of her husband, and hearing her screams of pain was too much for him. He took his kuzurigama and was ready to cut off his wings. These wings represent nothing but pain and suffering. I'll say good riddance to them. They traumatized my mother, took away my father, and took away my parents-in-law. Yasaka, overhearing what her eldest son was about to do, burst into the room to stop him. Yasaka, what are you doing? Mother, why are you stopping me? That man hurt you. You trusted him and he violated you, causing me to be conceived and be born. I'm an abomination. I want nothing to do with his heritage or these wings at all. I want you to be happy, but these wings will remind you of the day he assaulted you, violated you, and took your life away from you. I don't want you to be reminded of that. They represent the pain of many of our people, the loss of the Eastern Yokai faction, Irina's parents, Dad, all of them are gone because of the devils. Yasaka would slap the sense into him and cause him to drop the kuzurigama and hug him tightly whilst tears were coming down her face. Yasaka, even though that happened, you're still my child. I could never hate you for what that man did. Don't hold yourself responsible. You are still my child, my happiness with Kanu, my blessing, my little fox prince, and my little Nothing will ever change that. Your wings don't define who you are. Your heritage doesn't define who you are. Don't harm yourself because of what others have done, my dear. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm just overwhelmed at this point. I'm just tired. Tears were coming down from Issei's face as the stress of everything came unto him and his emotions were released. Yasaka, let it all go. I'm here. As your mother, I'm here. Issei cried into Yasaka's arms as his emotions got the best of him, the pressure of the situation getting to him. After a while, the duo went to the nursery where year-old Kunu was asleep as Issei made this promise to his sleeping little sister. Kunu-chan, I promise that I'll be there to protect you all the time, that I'll be there for you when you need me. Anything or anyone that puts you in danger, I will remove it to protect you as your older brother. Sometime later, Issei was on an outing with his wives Irina and Ari as they went out to a park. As the trio was seated together eating lunch, but whilst hiding their ears and tails, a magic barrier was erected which was immediately sensed by all three, but Issei immediately took a stand to protect his wives. Their attackers were found to be devils, and as they attacked in massive numbers, Issei went into his zero-tailed form as he began ripping through the assault force. This was also the first time he'd used demonic magic. It came as a shock to him and his wives, but he was able to utilize it to kill all the attackers. Once he found out it was demonic magic, he refused to use it, seeing it as a burden on him. The Nekishu that Issei and his contingent found alive in the East Yokai faction ended up recovering. They found out her name was Fujimai Tuju, and she was missing her two children Kuroka and Kaneko, who had become devils. Issei had promised her that he'd find them. As Issei assisted her in her recovery, she began to have growing feelings for the Yokai prince, which was noticed by both princess consorts, and they gave their approval to Fujimai. But they also told her that she needed to gain the approval of the Yokai queen herself if she wanted to be a mate to her son. Yasaka, It's good to see that you have recovered well, Fujimai. Fujimai, yes, Your Majesty. Your son and his wives have been extremely kind and assisted me in my recovery, and I cannot thank him enough. Yasaka, but I believe you're here for more than that, I suppose. Fujimai, yes, Your Majesty. Fujimai had a slight blush on her face which Yasaka noticed, and she immediately got a grasp on the situation. Yasaka, you're in love with Issei, aren't you? Fujimai, yes, Your Majesty. He's been someone who's been extremely kind and considerate of my situation. He never fails to listen and will act on something if it needs his attention. He's also treated me with kindness, and has been helping me get settled here in Kyoto as well. Yasaka, well then, Fujimai, I wish you luck in being a maid of my son's, though you should know that Irina and Ari would be watching you. Fujimai, I am aware of that, Your Majesty. They've given me their approval to court Issei as well. Yasaka, well then you can call me mother. Fujimai blushed beet red as Yasaka said that she could address her as mother. Fujimai, of course, mother. Fujimai would also admit her feelings to Issei, to which he returned happily, much to her joy, and he marked her as his mate as well. Soon afterwards they got married as well, and she became a princess consort of the Yokai faction as well. Time skip 8 years later. 8 years later, Issei, Irina, Ari and Fujimai would all move to Ko, to stay there for a bit. Issei enrolled into Ko Academy, and so did Irina and Ari. All three wanting to get an experience of normal school and life outside of Kyoto. Fujimai would remain home as a housewife by her own choice. It also turned out that she had become pregnant as well and was expecting her own child with Issei. 5 years before their move to Ko, Issei finally became a father. Being a father to a boy with Irina, and a girl with Ari. Yasaka was ecstatic when her grandchildren were born. Issei and Irina's son was named Kenji Shidahayadu, after Irina's late father, whilst Ari and Issei's daughter was named Akane Hoshiko Hayadu. Kenji would have his mother's red hair, whilst also getting his father's red eyes, whilst Akane would have her mother's white hair whilst inheriting her father's red eyes. Both children would be born with 5 tails. Kenji would be a quarter human, quarter devil and half kitsune, whilst Akane would be 3/4 kitsune and a quarter devil. When they all moved to Ko from Kyoto, all 4 saw that they were enrolled in the kindergarten of Ko Academy. The pair of young kitsunes also saw Fujimai as a mother in her own right. After Issei and his family moved out of Kyoto, their life has been chaotic, to say the very least. From the very first day at Ko Academy, they'd had eyes on them, especially Issei from the governing devils of the area, Sona Citri and Rias Gremry. He was annoyed when he first was called to the student council office as Sona wanted him to join her peerage, to which he refused. Afterwards, his wife Irina was targeted by fallen angels. The reason she had a sacred gear. Being half kitsune / half human, she was born with the boosted gear and was thus the Red Dragon Empress. But he was able to take the fallen angels out without any issue at all. Rias had recruited Asia into her peerage, who was extremely lost since the fallen angels were killed by Issei. Afterwards came the raiding game with Riser, in which Rias was fighting for her freedom, but she lost the raiding game the first time around. Before the raiding game, she had sensed Issei's power and wanted to recruit him into her peerage, but like Sona, he rejected her. The Gremry peerage lost the raiding game. They had luck on their side when Surzek's Lucifer unilaterally cancelled the engagement, when it was proven that Riser had cheated during the raiding game, and the whole raiding game was rigged by the elders to ensure that the marriage went through. But in the aftermath, Rias dismissed Akino from her peerage due to a lack of taking part, as she had resigned herself to the fact that she'd be a slave to Riser. When she was dismissed, it broke her, and she left the ORC crying until she was found by Irina and Ari at the park as they were walking with Kenji and Akane. They brought her to their home, to which they told Issei what happened with Akino, which made him angry. He allowed Akino to reside at their house, and the children took to her quickly. She was surprised to find out that Akane and Kenji were Issei's children with Ari and Irina, respectively. She was also shocked to learn of Kaniko's mother being alive, but said that she had no business telling her since it wasn't her area anymore. When Fujimai found out that Kaniko had agreed to dismiss Akino, she was angry about what her daughter did and apologized to the half-fallen angel, but told her that she shouldn't apologize for her daughter's actions. As time went by, Akino got to know the Yokai prince. He even told her that he was a Yokai, which was something he didn't even disclose when Sona and Rias wanted to recruit him into their peerages. Then the Holy Sword fiasco came along, where a team of 2 exorcists came along to try and recover the blades, Zenobia Quarta and Asami Shido. Asami Shido is the childhood friend of Ken Motohama who was recruited by Rias Gremory a day before the meeting with Riser as her pawn after she found that Motohama was the wielder of the Primal Eclipse Gauntlet, which hosts the soul of the evil dragon Apophis. From there, they'd fight Fried Selzen and Valper Galilei, ending in a fight against Kokabile. Asami was injured by Fried and had her Excalibur mimic stolen, and it ended in a battle at Ko Academy, which Kokabile revealed that it wasn't only the Satans that died but God did as well after killing Valper, which shocked everyone, none more so than Zenobia and Asia. After which Irina from a far position came into the fight and killed Fried and Kokabile afterwards. The White Dragon Empress Valerie came in and saw that everything was a bust. Well, this was a bust. Kokabile is dead. Albion, you're still alive, Red One. Drake, I'm not one to die so easily, White One. Vala, we'll meet again soon, my rival. Tell me, are you associated with the devils? Irina, no rival I'm not. I'd rather not chain myself down, and I loathe devils with all my heart considering what had happened in the past. Unlike Apophis' host who's more concerned with building a harem for himself instead of training, I'm already settled with my lover. Trust me, he's way beyond any of our power. Valley Gremory, you best train your pawn. He won't survive fighting against either of us. Since you decided to throw your queen away, you're extremely weakened. Ria scowled at Vala's statement but knew that she was correct about it. She made a mistake in throwing away Aquino, and her brother told her as much as well. Now Aquino doesn't wish to be around Rias, the ORC or the student council, alienating her against the devils, as she threw away her most important piece. Vala left as Irina was leaving as well, leaving everyone with a lot of questions. They were fearful that the Red Dragon Empress had a vendetta against devils. When Grafia arrived and was told of it, she reported to the Maus, which drew a lot of concern from them. Afterwards, it was open house and Yasaka came to see her children and grandchildren. Though she concealed her energy to seem human, she was introduced to Aquino as well, and Yasaka determined that she was a potential mate to her son. She also noticed that Kenji and Akane had taken to Aquino well, even calling her Mama Aquino, which made her blush beet red, whilst the Gremory peerage watched from afar, regretting throwing away Aquino none more so than Rias, who lost her best friend due to her emotions, as Surzex showed them what the consequences of her actions were. Grafia during open house was more interested in Issei as she had sensed his energy, and it was extremely similar to hers as she sensed that he was at least partial devil. After open house, Aquino admitted her feelings to Issei, to which he reciprocated them, and he marked her as his fourth mate. He also repaired the relationship between Aquino and Barraquil as he related to Aquino, when he told her that his father died in his arms and he had to break the news to his mother, which broke him. He hadn't told her about his devil side yet, which Yasaka advised him to do so soon. During the tri-factional peace conference, all 3 factions made peace with one another whilst a concern was raised about the Red Dragon Empress being hostile to the devils. Vala turned against the factions and revealed that she was working with the Cow's Brigade. Kateria came into the meeting and tried killing the faction leaders but failed, as she killed herself in a last-ditch effort to kill Azazel with herself, which failed. She then taunted Motohama for being weak compared to herself and her rival. Vala, tell me, rival, what do you want in life right now? You are so pathetically weak compared to myself and my rival. Though she isn't here, she's at least equal to me in power. You're nothing. Motohama, it doesn't matter. I'll beat you and put you in your place, Valerie. Vala, we'll see about that. If my rival said her lover is magnitudes stronger than I or her, then I have much better battles to look forward to than having to hold myself back waiting for a pathetically weak devil like you who doesn't even have a high magic capacity. After Valerie toyed with Motohama for a bit, the pervert took in one of the divine dividing jewels, which cut down his lifespan. Biko came in and left with Vala. After the peace conference, Azazel joined Ko Academy as a teacher. Whilst the Gremory and Citri peerages went to the underworld, Issei proposed to Aquino and got engaged to her. Whilst the Youth Devil Conference took place and the Gremory and Citri peerages fought against Loki, which Motohama almost died after being bitten by Fenrir, and when he was brought back using Phoenix tears gifted to the pervert from Ravel. After the Youth Conference, Rias recruited Rosweiss into her peerage as her queen, replacing Akino as her queen. Then came the youth raiding games in which Diodora attempted to abduct Asia during the game, and Motohama, who'd grown fond of the former nun, came to her rescue until Shelba Beelzebub sent her to the dimensional gap, which made Motohama trigger the Primal Eclipse Drive, Apophis version of the Juggernaut Drive, and went on a rampage until Vala with Biko and Arthur was able to bring Asia back and break him out of the drive. Rosweiss also joined Ku Academy as a teacher, and Asami joined Ku Academy after she became an angel and was under Michael's brave saints. Currently, the Ko end-year students were on their way to Kyoto whilst the Haida family went to Yasaka's palace. The Ko students went to a hotel owned by the Gremory family, which was allowed to be built after Tamamo struck a deal with the Gremory family on behalf of her sister. The second-year students enjoyed the sights of the city as Motohama, Matsuda, and Kiryu were talking together. Then, as they did, most of the human students vanished, and the Stuko and ORC students were attacked by several yokai led by Kunu. Kunu, where is my mother? Motohama, what do you mean your mother? Kunu, you will give her back. Get him. Motohama had to defend himself from the yokai as he had backup come in from Kiba, Zenobia, Asia, Asami, Saji, and Tomo. Seeing that she was outgunned, Kunu made a retreat. Kunu, we will get our answers from you. They went back and reported to Azazel about their encounter with the Kyoto yokai, to which they found out that Yasaka had been abducted. Azazel, bad news. It seems that the yokai queen, Yasaka, has been abducted, meaning that the yokai here are extremely suspicious of anyone who isn't human. The person who abducted you was the princess of the yokai and Queen Yasaka's younger daughter, Kunu. We'll be meeting the yokai later this evening to discern more about the situation. You'll all have to wear kimonos though, as it's tradition here in Kyoto. Meanwhile, two girls were listening in and were worried for their fellow yokai and queen after she was abducted. They both were kitsans and had 5 tails out as they heard about the kidnapping. Should we help them search for Her Majesty? First, we need to get asylum as survivors of the East Yuvai faction. I heard that many of them managed to get asylum here in Kyoto. Hopefully, we can get in as well. Same, but I'm sure the West will help us. They did once before for many of them. Her Highness Princess Irina is from the Eastern faction, our home as well. We'll go in the evening. ORC/Stuko, Hi Sensei. Scene change. Yasaka's palace. Issei, Irina, Ari, Fujimai, Akino, Akane and Kenji arrived home to much commotion around them. Magari spotted them and helped fill them in on the situation. Magari, your highnesses. She bowed as she greeted them once she saw them. Issei, Magari, what's going on? Magari, your mother was abducted a day ago. We've been trying to look for her. Lady Tamamo has been handling everything as we've been searching for Her Majesty. Let me take you to her. Issei, why wasn't I told of this sooner? Magari, Lady Tamamo was about to do so, but then Princess Kunu took matters into her own hands and tried searching for her, running into devils, and they had an altercation. Issei's face turned extremely stern from hearing that Kunu had an altercation with the devils, which scared Magari. Issei, she isn't hurt, is she? Magari, no, she isn't. She's currently with Lady Tamamo. We've also heard that they requested a meeting with us along with the Governor General of the Fallen Angels. Issei, okay, I'll be with them shortly. Iori-chan, Ari-chan, Fuji-chan, and Akino-chan, get settled. We may need to have a meeting soon. Akane, Papa, where's Ba-chan? Kenji, yeah, Papa, where is she? Issei, we're looking for her, don't worry, we'll find her. For now, go to Auntie Bianca and Auntie Blanca. Kenji/Akane, hi. Issei dismissed his lovers and children apart from Irina and Ari, who went to the throne room with him as all the commotion stopped. Kunu ran to her brother, and she embraced him. Kunu, Oni-sama. Mother's gone, and I don't know where she is. Issei, I know Amuro-chan will find her, but why did you go out and look for her yourself? You could have gotten hurt. Kunu, I was extremely worried. There was some purple fog whilst I was walking with Mother, and the next thing she was gone. Kunu was crying into her brother's yukata as he calmed her down. Issei, don't worry, I'm here now, we'll find her. Obasan, how's everything going? Tamamo, I've been keeping things as calm as best as I can. I see. Kunu going out and attacking the Gremory and Citri peerages added another layer of complexity to this. They are coming later, you have to take charge as the acting ruler since you've arrived now. I know you don't want the factions getting involved in this, especially the devils, but we need to find your mother. Please keep your emotions in check. Issei, okay, Olbasan, time skip, the ORC. Stuko, Azazel, Rosweiss, and now Sarah Fall also came in to join the meeting as she wanted to establish proper diplomatic relations with the Yokai faction. The Yokai sensed the devils and glared at them as they walked towards the palace, which made some of them uneasy. Azazel, remember to be respectful since we're in a different faction territory, meaning no ogling Motohama. Motohama, hi sensei. Azazel, also, both you, Motohama and Saji, you best not say anything. The Yokai prince is no pushover, so do not provoke him in any way. Motohama and Saji nodded quickly as Azazel glared at them. The Ko group went up to the palace. They were met by Kunu, who had a guard with her as they saw her. Kunu, greetings. I am Princess Kunu, the daughter of Queen Yasaka. Welcome to Kyoto. I'd like to apologize for the earlier incident. In sensing other supernatural beings in the city, I got extremely suspicious ever since my mother disappeared, and I hope you will accept my apology. Asami, that's understandable, Princess Kunu. Hopefully, we can start again. Kunu, thank you. If you would follow me, my brother, the acting lord of the Yokai, is waiting for us. Kunu, the angel in that group, looks a lot like Irene-sama. Kunu led them to the throne room, where they were shocked at who they would see. As they entered the throne room, they saw a few recognizable faces, but the one which would shock them the most would be the person who was seated at the head of the table. Issei, welcome to Kyoto. I am Issei Hayadu, eldest son of Queen Yasaka Hayadu and heir of the Yokai faction. Issei had all his zero tails out, though he wasn't exuding any power at all. It was a display that showed that he was not someone to be trifled with at all, and he wasn't the only one. Tamamo also had all 0 of her tails out, and Irina and Ari had their 9 tails out. They were also shocked as they looked between Irina and Asami, as they were wondering why there were 2 Asamis. Azazel, it's nice to meet you again. Your Highness, as you know, I am Governor General Azazel of the Fallen Angels. Issei, it's nice to see you again, Azazel. Issei greeted Azazel with a smile as he was good friends with the Fallen Angel Governor General, which everyone was surprised by. Seraphal, I am Seraphal Leviathan, the Devil King Leviathan and head of foreign affairs for the Devil faction. We're here with the students of Ko Academy who are part of my sister Sona Citri's peerage and Lady Rias Gremery's peerage, along with the ace of the leader of Heaven, Chief Michael. Issei, it's nice to meet you, Lady Leviathan. Issei's smile became more strained as he greeted Seraphal. He didn't like the fact that a Devil King was also in Kyoto, considering everything that he's seen and what's happened with the devils. I see she's here with a damn smile, acting as if she doesn't know what her faction has done to mine over the years, growling. I see, allow me to introduce everyone present. Firstly, the woman standing next to me is my mother's older sister and my aunt, and the head of foreign affairs for the Yokai faction, Tamamonome or Tamamo Hayadu. She is also the first of only 2 Jubino Kitsune or 10-tailed foxes. I am the second after her. The 2 people seated around the table adjacent to me are as follows. Noharahian, former leader of the Eastern Yokai faction, now a member of the Western Yokai faction and part of the Central Yokai Council. Magari, former vice leader of the Eastern Yokai faction, is now also a member of the Western Yokai faction and also a part of the Central Yokai Council. I'll allow the remaining ladies to introduce themselves. Irena, greetings. I am Princess Consort Irina Shida-Hayadu, first wife of Prince Issei Hayadu. Everyone had wide eyes, none more so than Asami, as she saw that Irina shared the same last name as her, but waited until the introductions were done to talk. Ari, I am Princess Consort Ari Hoshiko Hayadu, second wife of Prince Issei Hayadu. Fujimai, good evening. I am Princess Consort Fujimai Tuja Hayadu, third wife of Prince Issei Hayadu. The shock kept on coming as they saw that Fujimai had a relation to Kaneko, and then came the last woman, whom everyone was shocked by except for Azazel. Akino, hello, I am future Princess Consort Akino Haimajima Hayadu, soon to be fourth wife of Prince Issei Hayadu. Issei, that is everyone from my side. I heard that members of the Ko Academy group were attacked by my sister. I would like to apologize for her actions. I just got briefed when I arrived a few hours ago when I heard of the incident. Azazel, it's alright, Your Highness. I understand your sister's worry. Issei, but then I do want to know what happened. Perhaps you can provide some insight as well. Kunu, if you may. Kunu explained what happened the last time she saw Yasaka, including when they got surrounded by purple fog, which, when it dissipated, saw Yasaka disappear from out of nowhere. Azazel, I can say this is the work of a sacred gear, Longinus class, dimension lost. Issei, what does it do? Azazel, it creates a special mist that can block any attack and teleport anything inside of it into an artificial space. Issei, that is concerning, especially if it's a Longinus sacred gear. Azazel, I heard that the person possessing this sacred gear is a part of the Cow's Brigade in a sub-faction called the Hero Faction, which also has the wielder of the true Longinus. Issei, the first and strongest Longinus, I see then. Azazel, Prince Issei, I would propose an alliance to help search for your mother. If we're dealing with the wielder of the true Longinus, we must tread carefully. Seraphal, it would allow us to expend more resources in searching for Queen Yasaka. We have the wielder of the Primal Eclipse Gauntlet, which hosts Apophis along with the wielder of the Absorption Line of Vitro with us. Issei was in deep thought. He didn't want to have the devils helping him. Tamamo had to convince him otherwise. Tamamo, I see, it would be in our best interest to work with them to search for Yasaka. I know you don't want to work with the devils specifically, trust me I don't want to as well, but this is our best chance of finding your mother. Issei nodded at Tamamo's advice as he spoke out. Issei, I'll consider a temporary alliance to help search for my mother, as right now, if she isn't present, the city's ley lines will go out of control. Despite my and my aunt's presence, we are too powerful, which would overload the lines. Kunu is too young to manage the lines by herself. Azazel, Seraphal and the Ko contingent nodded at his explanation. Issei noted Asami looking at Irina and brought her into the fold. Issei, young angel, I see that you're deeply troubled by something. Speak your mind. Asami had snapped out of her trance as Issei called her out, but she heard his question. Asami, my apologies, Your Highness, it's just that I have a question. Issei, what is it? Asami, Princess Irina and I share the same last name, which is something which got me out of sorts. Irina, what's your name? Asami, my name is Asami Shido. I'm the daughter of Tuji and Aimi Shido. Irina, I see. My father's name was Kenji Shido whilst my mother's name was Aoi Shido. My father was human whilst my mother was a kitsune. Asami, did your father have a sibling named Takeda Shido? Irina, he did. He was his younger brother. Asami, well, I am Takeda Shido's great-great-granddaughter. Irina, meaning you are my great-niece. Asami, it's nice to meet you, Great-Aunt Irina. Irina, the same can be said. Asami. Asami and Irina shared a hug amidst the circumstances. Seraphal, Your Highness, I've got a question. Issei, what is it? Seraphal, why didn't you reveal your true identities to my sister and Rias Gremory when you moved to Ko as they are governors of the town? Ari, why should we wanted to keep our lives private? And considering that my husband has been annoyed by your sister and Lucifer's sister because they wanted him to join their peerages. Ko may be governed by your sister and Rias Gremory, but remember the land is leased from the Shinto and Yokai factions. And knowing your sister complex to Sona, you'd want either of us to join her peerage, but I say this, we will never be devils. Your faction has caused too much damage to ours. You come here to Kyoto smiling as if you're not aware of what the devils have done to the Yokai. We didn't want you here, you weren't invited to come here, we weren't interested in making any diplomatic relations with the devils. The reason why that hotel owned by the Gremory family is even in Kyoto is thanks to my aunt. In law, my husband doesn't want to indulge such stupidity, not to mention what Rias Gremory did to Akino here. Throwing her out the way she did that just made us not want any relations with the devils more. We'd be more interested in forming a proper alliance with the Angel faction and Fallen Angel faction before we even look at the devils. Seraphal frowned at Ari's statement, as she was confused about what the devil faction did to the Yokai. Saji and Motohama had a bit of annoyance to the subtle insult that went to Sona and Rias. They wanted to speak, but Azazel's warning came to mind. Asia, this question is to Lady Fujimai. Fujimai, what is it? Asia, your last name is similar to a friend of ours, Kaneko Tuju. Fujimai, you mean Chiron. Motohama, Kaneko, that's the name we know her by. Fujimai, her birth name is Chiron, and she's the younger of my two daughters, the older being Kuroka. Tell me, why is it she's classed as a stray devil? Seraphal, it's because she went mad with her power. Senjutsu specifically. All the yokai glared at Seraphol as Issei's eyes turned from red to icy blue in anger. Issei, you have to be joking, right? Seraphol, that's the official statement. Tamamo saw that Issei's anger was growing with each second and he was going to explode. Issei, you do realize that sage arts, senjutsu and yujitsu are natural magic to yokai, right? Did you bring that into your investigation, or did you just classify her as a stray because she killed some idiot who wanted her for her power? Or the fact that she killed him to protect her younger sister? Communication outgoing. Ota-san, Issei, get here quickly. I need some confirmation from you. I'll be there shortly. Minute later a teleportation circle appeared and out from it came a black-haired Nekashu which got the devils up on guard. Issei, Kuroka, I want some confirmation from you about something. Please answer honestly and truthfully. Kuroka, of course, Ota-san. Issei, Kuroka, what I am about to ask you is something I want you to answer truthfully and honestly. So I want proper confirmation. Kuroka, of course, Ota-san. Now, Issei, your former master, Nibirius, or whatever that bastard's name was, correct? Kuroka, yes. Issei, what was the reason for you killing him? Kuroka, for the fact that I was used as a guinea pig in his experiments, and when he was going to go to do the same experiments on Chiron, that is when something snapped in me. I knew Chiron was too young and she'd die in those experiments, so I made a massive gamble, and I killed him. Tamamo, this attaining your stray devil status at one of the highest classes as an SS class stray devil, correct? Kuroka, correct, Oba-san. I wasn't even given a chance to defend myself, and they were going to execute Chiron in my place. But then Sirzek's Lucifer intervened, saying that Chiron shouldn't be executed for my crimes, which wasn't even a crime at all. Issei, it was an instinctual reaction, the older sibling protecting the younger one. Any one of us could be in the same situation, and the reaction would be the same. Seraphol was slack-jawed with the explanation as she couldn't believe it. Seraphol, why didn't you report it then? We would have done something. Kuroka, oh really, considering how we reincarnated devils are looked down upon as nothing lower than dirt, as slaves, when the reason your faction is still around is due to us first and foremost. Like, look at Riser Phoenix's peerage. The man is still as arrogant as ever, and he has 2 Nikomata in the peerage whom he uses as his slaves. Don't patronize me, Seraphol Leviathan. Considering that you're not even in full control of your government doesn't exactly give my father the best view of the devil faction, along with the discrimination that most have faced. And let's not forget what the devils did to the Eastern Yokai faction. Seraphol, at this point, looked extremely confused as she was confused at what happened to the Eastern Yokai faction. Seraphol, what do you mean by what happened to the Eastern Yokai faction? Issei, you should look it up yourself. You're a devil king. You're supposed to be privy to that. Then come back and tell us what it is. That's one of the major reasons why I refuse to have an alliance with the devil faction, your unstable governance, along with your untrustworthiness. How can 2 separate governance systems exist? On one hand, it's your Council of Elders, and on the other, it's you, devil kings. Figure it out. If you don't have control of your government, there's no point in you holding the title of Satan. If you want a place to start, begin at my daughter Kuroka's case, since you've practically lost it from there. Declaring her a stray without proper investigation is stupid. I believe we're done here. We'll start with the search tomorrow. Seraphol, but then Kuroka is still a high-ranking stray with a kill-on-sight order. If I take her in, then we can investigate her claims. Issei, no, I won't put my daughter in danger based on word of mouth alone. Devils have proven to me without a shadow of a doubt that you are untrustworthy. Kuroka will remain with me as her father and with her mother Fujimai. Seraphol narrowed her eyes at Issei's statement, and retorted Issei's statement. Seraphol, are you willing to put the yokai at risk for a known wanted criminal? Issei's turned a much darker shade of blue, which frightened everyone in the room as the temperature started to turn extremely cold. Even Seraphol couldn't ignore it as she felt the aura being extremely similar. Issei, is that a threat? Leviathan, are you threatening me and my people simply because I refuse to hand my daughter over to you devils, knowing that you will execute her the minute she's in the underworld? I will tell you this now, and I'll only tell you once. Do not threaten me, my family, or my subjects. I will kill you and make sure that your soul does not even see an afterlife. Are we clear? Sarah Fall was starting to show fear at Issei's power. She felt that Issei could give Ajuka a tough time in a fight. She had to relent on taking Kuroka in. Sarah Fall, Crystal, Your Highness. Issei good? Now, as Issei was about to dismiss everyone for the night, a guard entered the throne room with news. Guard, Your Highness, we have news. Issei, what is it? Guard, there are 2 women outside Kitsans, both 5-tailed foxes, saying they are survivors of the Eastern Yokai faction massacre. They also say you're their senior at school. Issei, wait, from Ko. Bring them in. Guard, Your Highness. The guard bowed and left as Issei turned to Sarah Fall with one statement. Issei, more people who survived what you people did in the East, and they were in Ko. You're dismissed. We'll meet tomorrow, Governor Azazel. Could you remain for a bit, Leviathan? The next time I see you, I want an answer. Guards, you can escort them out. Asami, here's my personal teleportation circle and communication circle along with Irina's in case you wish to get in contact. Asami, thank you, Your Highness. Issei, just call me Aji-san, the same way you'd call Irina Oba-san. Asami, of course, Aji-san. The Ko contingent left the throne room whilst under the escort of the guards. Sarah Fall was upset that she couldn't get the alliance with the Yokai faction, but she also had questions about what happened in the Eastern Yokai faction. She also noted that the Yokai had animosity toward the devils and that all of the royal family had a grudge against the devil faction. Though they didn't show it verbally, it was visible in their expressions and looks. Sarah Fall, what do you mean by what the devils did in the Eastern Yokai faction, and why is your energy similar to someone I'm extremely familiar with and close to? As Issei, Azazel, Irina, Ari, Fujimai, Kuroka, Kunu, Magari, Naharahian and Akino remained, Azazel had something to say to the Yokai prince. Azazel, I see, you've got some serious balls telling off Sarah Fall like that. Issei, pure-blooded devils think that they are entitled to everything. Someone had to put her in line. Plus, am I wrong when I say that there are 2 governments in the devil faction? Azazel, no, you're correct in that regard. It's essentially a tug-of-war between Surzex, Ajuka, Sarah Fall, and Falbium against the council and heads of devil households. Issei, then there's no point in me making relations with a faction that is confused about who's leading it or not. The other girls understood where Issei was coming from, whilst Akino was wondering what the devils did to earn Issei's animosity along with the whole Yokai faction. As she looked at Issei, he looked back at her and mouthed that they'd talk later. As the guard led the 2 unknown Kitsans into the room, Issei sensed their energy, and so did Irina, and for once she had a few tears as she knew who it was. Issei, seeing his wife's reaction, instantly got who it was. As they entered the room, Issei greeted them warmly whilst the duo bowed. Issei, welcome to Kyoto, Kaori Murayama, Yui Kates, and welcome home. The kendo captains of Ko Academy were crying at the warm welcome given to them by Issei as they knew they were safe and home. Irina walked to her friends and hugged them, as she had missed them dearly. Irina, Kaori-chan, Yui-chan, it's so good to see you again. Kaori, you too, Irina, it's been so long, and to think you were a year above us at the academy. Yui, have you been well? Irina, yes I have, let's sit down. Azazel was a bit shocked to see that 2 of his students were Yokai, whilst the other Yokai had a smile seeing the reunion between friends as they sat down. Kaori, wait, what's Azazel-sensei doing here? Azazel, I'm a faction leader. Kaori, I'm the Governor General of the Fallen Angels. Yui, we understand then. Issei, Kaori, Yui, as survivors of the East, you are welcome to call Kyoto home like many others, such as Naharihian and Magari. Yui, Your Highness, we have a request to make of you. Issei, what is it? Kaori, we would like to request to join the search for your mother, Her Majesty Queen Yasaka. Yui, we are aware that you'd want us to settle down first, but we want to help you find your mother first. Issei nodded in acceptance of the kendo captain's insistence in helping him look for Yasaka. As he soon dismissed everyone and they went to bed, but he'd sleep with Akino for that night as he wanted to disclose everything about himself to his future 4th wife. Akino, Anada, how are you feeling? Issei, I'm quite happy that there are more survivors of the Eastern faction. But this whole thing of a Longinus wielder having my mother unsettles me. What do they want with her? Akino, I see. We'll find her and bring her home safely. Issei, listen, Akino, there is something you should know. It's more about me than anything. Akino, how so? Issei, hold my hands, concentrate your power, and tell me what you feel. Akino, I see what's wrong. Issei, do you trust me? Issei rubbed Akino's cheek with his hand as he requested her to feel his power and energy. Akino, I do. Anada. Issei, then do it. Anything else, any other questions you have, you can ask and I'll answer as best as I can. Akino then did as her fiancé asked of her. She'd been taught senjutsu and ki by Irina, Ari, and Fujimai, and at times gotten remote pointers from Kuroka as well. When she concentrated her energy and felt Issei's, she felt his kitsune power and how strong it was. She knew that Issei was a god amongst yokai due to his 0 tails and was incredibly strong. But as she continued feeling his power, she felt something off. She then felt his other half, one she'd left when she was thrown out of the Gremry peerage, his devil half. It got her so confused she started asking questions mentally about how could he have a devil's side. She then removed her hands from Issei as he looked down, asking her a question. Issei, you felt it, don't you? Akino, your power, yes, but you didn't tell me you're partly devil. I see. Issei, yeah, it's something I do not like talking about. We never talk about it at home. I don't like talking about that side of mine. Issei then unfurled his devil wings as his tails were also showing with his ears. Issei, Akino, I'm a kitsune devil hybrid. I was born this way. It's something I keep to myself. All citizens of the faction, and the Shinto faction, know of this fact. I know you must have a lot of questions and you may hate me for keeping this from you considering what happened with the Gremry. If you have any questions, I can answer them to the best of my ability. Akino, I see. Firstly, I won't hate you for not telling me about this. You had your reasons for not saying. But then how is it you're a devil? As far as I can tell, you don't have an evil piece in you. Issei, that's because I was born this way. I was born as a hybrid of a kitsune and a pure-blooded devil. But the thing is, I was a product of non-consensual. I was the product of rape. Akino looked shocked at Issei telling her he was the product of rape as she covered her mouth in shock. He had a few tears coming down his face as he did so. He then continued explaining. He told Akino how his mother had found an injured devil and took care of him until he recovered. From there, Yasaka would grow to have a close friendship with the devil, how they'd talk regularly, and have tea together. He even mentioned how in the civil war which he got injured in, he had children who were fighting in it. Afterwards he told her of how his mother was drugged by the devil and raped in her palace, and she couldn't call for help due to how out of it she was. And how he was conceived and was then born. Issei, despite all that happened, she had all the reasons in the world to not have to care about me. But she chose not to neglect me, but to care, love, and nurture me, despite the way I was conceived. Mother never wavered. She saw me as her little blessing, her little prince. Whenever she was down, I'd try my best to cheer her up. Issei was crying badly at that point as he recounted his life story to Akino, who had a saddened look for her fiancé and felt bad for her mother-in-law. I re-traumatized her when my wings popped out. I was shunned because of my heritage. No one until Irina and Ari wanted anything to do with me. She had PTSD from that incident. When I turned 8 2 centuries ago, she told me what happened. She told me not to judge someone on their heritage but on character. But I've not done as well. I still hate the devil faction, Akino. They've caused a great deal of pain to the yokai faction. The way I was dealing with Serafal was uncouth, yes, but all the pain of the past came back as there was a devil king in Kyoto smiling. A smile I couldn't trust. The Eastern yokai faction was driven to extinction by the devil faction. Many citizens of the faction died that day, and Irina's parents, Kenji and Aoi, my in-laws, were of the many casualties that day. Irina's mother was raped before she was killed. Irina's father was murdered brutally. Fujimai, I found her under rubble. She was lucky to survive that massacre. Seeing the devastation made me angry. I wanted to wage war against the devils, but Mother and Amaterasu Obasan stopped me from doing so. I was so frustrated that I wanted to cut off my wings that day. I spoke my thoughts out loud and Mother heard me, and stopped me from doing so as she told me that my heritage doesn't matter. I'm still her son and that's what matters to her. Akino hugged her fiancé as he told her everything of his past. She reassured him that he was still the love of her life, and that his heritage didn't matter to her, but she also reciprocated his words in saying that he should be accepting of his heritage and shouldn't self-hate and bring himself down like she did before he talked to her and managed to get her closure. Akino, I see, please promise me this. Issei, what is it, Akino? Akino, I'm asking you to reciprocate what you told me in terms of my half-fallen heritage. Don't hold yourself down, you need to use both sides, yokai and devil, in order to grow stronger. You told me the same thing, and now I've got 3 pairs of fallen angel wings and I'm growing my 4th now. Holding yourself down to one side will only make you weaker. Even if you hate the devil faction, just use your devil half as well. I don't like the faction as well due to how they treat reincarnated devils and devils who aren't pure-blooded, but let's not have that cloud our judgment. Issei, okay Akino, I'll try. The duo slept as they had a busy day coming up with the search of Yasaka beginning. Scene change: Leviathan Mansion, 5. At the Leviathan Mansion, Sarah Fall was in a late-night meeting with Surzex, Ajuka and Grafia as they talked about the events that happened in Kyoto. Surzex inquired about an alliance with the Yokai faction. Surzex, Sarah, did you manage to get an alliance with the Yokai faction despite the situation? Sarah Fall, no Surzex, I didn't. The Yokai are still dealing with the queen's disappearance, so I couldn't. Plus the prince of the Yokai wasn't particularly receptive to my presence. In fact, the whole royal family and former leaders of the Eastern Yokai faction. Ajuka, what do you mean he wasn't receptive? I thought he'd be happy to get more help in searching for his mother. Sarah Fall, he had to be convinced by his aunt, Tamamonome, to agree to us assisting in the search. Plus he holds a grudge over the Eastern Yokai faction, plus the way Kuroka's case was handled. Surzex, Kuroka's case, what do you mean by that? That's something for us to deal with. Sarah Fall, he's married to Fujimai Tuju, who's Kuroka's and Kaniko's mother, which makes him her stepfather. He said that we ignored the fine print and went straight to calling her a high-ranking stray. Surzex, but she did kill her master though. Sarah Fall, apparently in self-defense. I wanted us to look more into it. He was also particular that he wouldn't enter into an alliance with us, saying that the faction is confused on who's leading, us or the council. Since to him, the council is leading, not us. He also referenced Akino's case as well. Surzex, Akino, Ajuka, exactly what happened with her? Grafia, Rias removed her from the peerage and kicked her out from the club at school because of the raiding game. She's been extremely antagonized from any devil since. Sarah Fall, here's the kicker, she's the 4th fiancée soon to be married to Prince Issei. And he said that he'd rather make an alliance with the Grigori or Heaven before he does with us. And making an alliance with Grigori for him would be easier. He's already friends with Azazel, and Barakil is going to be his father-in-law. You'd say the marriage between him and Akino is political, but it's not. It's a consequence. Surzex, that complicates things for us. Ajuka, could we look into Kuroka's case? We may need to question the council. But the Eastern Yokai faction, that is something even I don't know of. Sarah Fall, he said that as a devil king, we should be privy to that information, and if we're not, then that's a problem. Surzex, Grafia, yes my lord. Surzex, please request a meeting between myself, Zikrum Baal and Lord Agars tomorrow. We need to talk about what the Yokai prince mentioned about the Eastern Yokai faction. Grafia, of course Lord Lucifer. Surzex, we'll talk again soon. Have a good night, everyone. Ajuka, of course. Plus, Surzex and Grafia left as Ajuka and Sarah Fall remained in the office, with the Leviathan still mulling over what Issei said. Ajuka, Sarah Fall, are you alright? Sarah Fall, I wish. Ajuka, what Prince Issei said is something we should look into if we are to get an alliance with them. Ajuka, you can worry about that tomorrow, let's head to bed. Sarah Fall, of course darling. I'll meet you there. Ajuka had Sarah Fall on the forehead as he left. Sarah Fall still had a lot on her mind. Sarah Fall, why is your energy so familiar? Prince Issei, who are you? How are you partly devil? Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Untested Associate 24 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.